I would like to welcome the audience for another discussion. Now, I would like to welcome Japanese director Sakahara Atsushi.
Yes.
And we will discuss about his film. I will read it. It's a pretty long title. Me and the Cult Leader, a modern report on the banality of evil. So welcome in Ji.hlava, all through still in Japan.
Thank you very much. Dobry den. Thank you.
Oh, nice.
I only know Dobry den. Yeah.
Still, it's very good. Nice to hear. Nice to hear Czech words from this exotic other end of the world. So
Yes.
let's start. We have to say to the audience, if there are any people who listen us right now, who are listening right now, they can write their questions in this question and answer, which they can find down on the Zoom application, and we can directly answer them. If not, they can just listen, and they will also there will be the recording will be then available on the page of Ji.hlava Film Festival. So welcome again, and let's start. Let's start maybe first briefly about you, to introduce you. It's interesting that it's your debut.
Yes.
Through your age is not usual debut, first time director. So how it happened that your debut film is finished and released quite late, let's say?
Yes, because I started directing career very late. I produced a short film back in 1999 and released it in 2001. As a producer, it's very successful. We won a Palme d'Or at Cannes, and then I came back to Japan, and I thought I am a producer, but it turned out I don't have a talent to be a producer. One of a very good producer friend told me, Atsushi, you cannot make a good producer. Actually, he is a nephew of John Lennon, Beatles John Lennon, the Japanese producer. And why? And then, I spent so much money studying business in America, MBA, and why? And he says, Atsushi, you have things to say. You should be a director. And if you have things to say, you shouldn't be a producer. Producer is helping a director to say it right. And at that night, I changed my career. That was 8 years ago. And all of a sudden, I decided to be a film director. Then I figured, analyzing what the people how people started their career. Like Bennett Miller started out with the Cruise, the documentary, and then he went to he directed Capote. Then Naomi Kawase, a Japanese film director, and Koreeda, they started out with the documentary because the equipment is so accessible now. That's how I started this documentary film. I'm not coming from documentary background. I don't know anything. Maybe I watched 5 documentary film. So I'm a very amateur, to be honest. And I'm very amateur in documentary and filmmaking too.
So it means that you plan in the future to try also fiction film?
Yes. Now I started learning how fascinating to make a documentary. I wouldn't say I wouldn't make a documentary, but I want to make a fiction film. Yes.
So do you already have any topics or script or some project in development?
Yes, I do. One is people say that I should write my autobiography. My life is very interesting, I can tell you. Okay. Before this documentary, I made one short film with the same cinematographer. I had several of associated producers who gave me money. One of producer won a Nobel Prize last week. So see, Right, really. His name is Paul Milgrom. He's an economist at Stanford. He won a Nobel Prize in economics. So my life, is full of surprise. So some people say I should make autobiographical film. That's one big project.
Even the film we are going to discuss today is a lot. There is big part of it is autobiography, let's say, because it starts from your experience, right?
Yes, right. Because yes, I survived in the subway and I left. And I came back, I married, and my wife was, involved in, some the cult. And I got the divorce, and then that was 2003. Then, I have been meditating, for a long time. It was very, very torturous to think through. I published one autobiography in Japan back in 2010. That was not enough, and I've been thinking through the issues for a long time. Then I decided to face it. That's the reason why I made this documentary. Yeah.
We got first a question, but to be honest, it's a pretty long text with many questions and with also some introductions. So I'm trying to go through it. Maybe I will start from the end. This question is quite simple. Was accomplishing the movie some kind of therapy for you? Was the film the therapy for you?
Yeah, in a sense that I completed, because making it is torturous. Because very, very torturous. You know what? Because I survived it, I have a bad PTSD. When I was editing, I fall asleep. That's a psychological defense mechanism. But I don't like to cop out, run away. So I told myself to face it. That was very, very torturous experience. So I feel better. I don't watch my film now.
Okay. Second question. Did you want your film character to apologize for joining and not leaving the Om Shinrikyo Aleph Select when he got to know about the crime? Did you want him to apologize?
Apology is a superficial issue for me. If I knew that if he apologized, what he believes will collapse. I knew it. That was my purpose. So that I could help him, meaning he will be awake and leave the cult. I wanted to help him. It's very interesting or very strange, but I don't have that anger, kind of anger. I don't need apology from him as a person. But that helped him to realize.
Understand. Yeah. Next question. Did you relieve your soul to open up the mind of the sect member and bring him in front of the crowd of journalists, the Kusimigashiki station? Did you relieve your soul?
Yes. Did I? What? Could you please repeat?
Did you relieve your soul to open up the mind of the select member sect member and bring him in front? So this situation, how the situation of bringing him in front of the journalist, how was it for you?
Actually, that was my very last chance to make him to apologize. Okay, and he, it's not the way. How can I say? Very in a subtle way, he apologized to me with my parents, and I wanted him to make a apology or apologetic statement in front of others to society, as a PR person of the cult, since he is representing the cult for society. That was my challenge, and I knew that if he apologized there, everything would collapse. But he couldn't do it.
Yes. Another question from that person. You label yourself as one of the victims of the Sanin attack in the film, but never speak about details of your injury or harm. Why?
Because the film, the theme is, I thought like, people are not interested in me. People are interested in him because I can talk anytime about my experience anytime, and then maybe in Japan it is quite shared knowledge. Yes, it's not a perfect ideal situation. People don't really know the truth about me, but I can talk about it anytime. I can do self-documentary too, right? It's. I wanted to know where the Araki Hiroshi exists and where he comes from. That's more interesting. That's what I thought.
And in a way, you are mentioning there the thing. You speak, for example, about the problems with the eyes when you want to him
Yes,
to,
yes.
to be a little bit straight to him, to explain him,
Yes.
to ask him direct questions. So in a way, there are some informations.
I did, yes.
Yeah. The other question is, when making the film, did you intend to show the film to the foreign international festivals, or was it meant primarily for Japanese audience?
Of course, I wanted to show it to a foreign audience, not only to Japanese audience. And I wanted to share this film with people in overseas. Because it's so rare for you to see it. I know that if you want to know a detail about the Omo, only maybe available book is Haruki Murakami's Underground.
Yeah, it's perfectly understandable. But maybe you can then compare the reaction, because for me as an international audience, I don't know details. I know just about the attack, let's say, but the human layer and this general doubts and general thinking of main character, it's very touching, very much understandable. And what was the reaction of Japanese audience? Was it a sort of catharsis for them, or was it maybe it's even more for international audience in this way, because it's so much understandable without any deep background information or analyze, or you know what I mean? Is it maybe finally it's more for the international than for domestic audience, isn't it?
You mean which way you said it's more for international audience?
Yeah, international audience, I believe that they understand and they are satisfied. They are fulfilled because they it's so new for them, this character and all the background they get. So it's fine. So my question is, how was the reaction in Japan for Japanese audience, which is so much informed about it? They know very well Om Shinrikyo. They know
among my friends, I showed it and then I had the feedback. I didn't show it publicly yet. So, but among my friends, people say that they want me to describe more about total background of what, for example, in detail about what the Omo did. But you know what? I'm a film director. I'm the mighty God in the film. If I explain it in one way, then I have a very opinionated way I can do that, right? So that's why it's more pure me and Araki Hiroshi,
Yeah, and you say that it was you just screen it to your friends and it was not screened publicly. That's because it's so new that it was not released in Japan, or
no, it is just a matter of timing. After the film festival circuit, I am intended to release theatrical release in next March or February, around the time that the incident took place. Yes.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for the right time.
So getting back to those questions from the question answer, there is question about the cult leader Asahara Shoko, has never been shown in the movie. Why? It would be most educative for the non-Japanese and younger audience abroad. Says
He was in the death row for a long time, and he was executed in 2018. He's not available for anyone, so that's why I gave up.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like yeah, making a documentary is like cooking at midnight. You know, you can do with only the available things in the leaflet. You know, so yeah.
There is quite a, let's say, personal question also. Let's raise it. Did your wife leave you because she joined the sect, or because you disagreed with her involvement in the sect?
She had been a member of the sect before I met her and married. And she was honest enough to share it with me. And we divorced. And that's what I have to write in detail in my autobiography, but many aspects, many aspects. Maybe I thought she wouldn't be happy if she is with me. I didn't dislike her. I wouldn't make her happy, because I had to write a script. I wanted to make a film just after coming back with Palm Door. I can't open any door at the time. And she knew it. And also, you know, I wanted to go back to America. She cannot technically with me. She was categorized as a terrorist group member. I think she figured out. I didn't talk about it, but she figured out. Right after we were married, we were planning to go to Europe. She had a job in Luxembourg, but her job application, work permit was turned down. I think she said probably because of her past. So that's why we left. We divorced, you know. Many aspects. Maybe she was not very comfortable with my post effect. She learned it after I got married. I didn't even know what the post effect is like. And then, you know, many layers. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. Many layers. But yeah, one word is I thought I wouldn't.
How is she now, by the way? Is she still member of the sect?
No. She's not at all. I don't think so. She really disliked the sect, because when she was my wife, she was not a member of sect anymore. So she's not. And I once heard that she's married, but I don't know. We don't talk. Unfortunately, no communication.
I see. So there are some more people in audience of our talk. So I just would like to notice to tell them that there is a chance, if they want to ask also question, there is this questions and answers thing down in the Zoom, so they can write their questions, and we will answer them, or I will raise them. I will ask them.
Thank you.
You mentioned about that you are not experienced filmmaker or documentary maker, and that you haven't seen a lot films, about 5
right.
You spoke, but still, you know, this is sort of, I would say, subgenre. This film, this type of documentary, when you follow some character to convince him to give some testimony and things like that. So, is there any inspiration from the history?
Yes, I have. This is about a fictional film. Not testimony. It's a Midnight Run by Robert De Niro. Yeah, I loved it, and that's the reason why I came up with the road movie. Right, two buddies makes a road movie. Basically, Midnight Run, you know, so I have to structure this film in that way. I knew that I would like to introduce my parents, and then, you know, that's the inspiration. So I'm not a documentarist, you know. I'm not a very intelligent documentary. I wouldn't say that the Midnight Light is not intelligent. That's one of the best road movie, I think. Yeah.
Let's get back to your main character. It's mentioned somewhere, I don't know if it's in film or in some texts which I read, that it took 1 year for you to convince him to be part of the film, right?
That's very right.
And how was it? If you can say some details, what was crucial thing to convince him?
Yeah, convincing him by itself is not that difficult. Convincing the cult is difficult. So spending a year, I visit their facility, I meet people there and let them know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that they came to, I still remember one statement by one cult member when I did. Atsushi, you are very, very curious about where we are coming from, meaning as an individual. And not like oh, there is a guru's picture or there is something, you know. That's the moment I felt they started giving me okay. And then I interviewed so many people, you know. There is one another Japanese who did a similar thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's Haruki Murakami.
Mm-hmm.
And all the meetings Hiroshi Araki attended, okay? I asked him, what was he like, Haruki Murakami? and he said, Atsushi, Haruki Murakami is very much like author. Thank you very much. I'm not like an author. Meaning, I directly ask many questions, and then also one way to do it, I'm quite amateurish. It worked well. I talked about myself, okay? Mm-hmm. So I spent long hours with every cult member. I talked about myself a lot. And at a certain point, they feel tired of it. And then they started talking about themselves to me.
Yeah.
That's the basic approach I did for this film too. So I'm quite amateurish documentarist. Author doesn't talk about them, they listen, right? My style is different. I talk, and then
you know, I have to mention one thing which came to my mind quite immediately watching the film. There is a pretty famous Czech character. I don't know if you know him. It's Good Soldier Švejk by Jaroslav Hašek. It's a novel from First World War. And for me, you are a little bit like this character because he's also convincing. Check it, definitely you will like the book because there is a big humor speaking about serious things about the war and about stupidity of the war, let's say. But it's told with happiness, with joy. He's smiling all the time, but not characters around him are not afraid to express themselves, and they really show their thinking and their. So I think that's something which was sort of Czech parallel to your approach, which I see, because it's really nice to see that you can get such an answers and such a testimony, let's say, without pushing, with this sort of kindness and patience and.
I remember the moment that Hiroshi Araki him determined to tell his true story, how he joined the cult. I remember that he was attending me. I interviewed a female cult member, and she told a lot of stories. And on our way to the station, Araki kindly accompanied me. He said that I should tell my story. That's how kind of remark he made, I remember. So that moment, you know, so same thing. He saw his colleague explained everything. Oh, maybe I should tell this story then. That is the way before the shooting happened. So he was pretty much ready to talk about his past, really. And then during the shooting, he was looking for a timing when he should talk.
Mm.
Kind of sense I had, yeah. Not I'm pushing him to talk, you know.
So he felt it probably, or this cult itself, sect, they felt they saw it also as a chance to change their public image, or to be so watched in better way.
Yes, I think so. He wanted to, in a sense, of course, he wanted to utilize me, but I have to be very careful about that. And his former boss, he runs another spin-off sect, and he was kicked out by the Hiroshi Araki. He's very eloquent and very well-known, infamous person. I interviewed him. I published a dialogue book with him, and he called me. From my point of view, who and what do you want to talk to more? I listen to you in my book, right? And I wanted to make sure he won't be in mass media anymore. But, and my editor didn't like it, and he called me, and we had so much debate, and he challenged me, Atsushi, audience, watch your film. Someone will join Aleph. That put me huge pressure on me. That's why I spent 5 years. It should be enjoyable and meaningful for audience, and make sure it won't attract someone else to join the cult.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much pressure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Speaking about book and film in general, you have both experiences, to express yourself through the book and to express yourself through the film. How you see it? Are there any advantages, disadvantages to tell the story through the film?
Book has more freedom, but doesn't have a visual image, very straightforward and very convincing. You cannot deny the screen, right? And film is more stricter. You need to be more disciplined to show. That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we are slowly getting to the end of the interview. I can just repeat that if there is still somebody who wants to ask question, they can. If there is something what you want to add, what I didn't ask, please.
Yeah. Yes, since I'm very honored to have opportunity to show my film at the film festival, and I'd like to mention about the strong affiliation with Czech. Mm-hmm. I have a very good friend, Rabbi Hofbach. He is one of Rabbi's leading community in Czech, and he lives in the building of Lucana Theater, and I owe him a lot. He helped me a lot in my life, and he's one of the best friends in my life. And he accommodated me. He was in America, 1996 for one year during my mental recuperation. And I visited him in Czech, Prague, and I liked Prague a lot. One day I want to make a film there. Mm-hmm. That's my one small dream,
Okay, there is one more question in the questions and answers asking, tell us more about the content of the book. Was it from the trail, your book, which we mentioned?
It's about the different person related to the cult. So it's not directly related to this film. If you want to have more information, we are releasing the podcast. Mm-hmm. Before After Om with my co-producer in English. It's free. You can access and you can listen. Okay. And you can find the podcast on my website, aganai.net, agani.net. That's my Japanese film title.
Okay, so thank you very much again for joining us. It's really pity that we couldn't meet in person in Ji.hlava. I think you would like it because the taste of the festival is very close to the atmosphere of your film. trying to raise questions and answering questions and thinking about things through the film and with the film. So hopefully next year maybe in person with some
I will.
other things.
Lava is my friend is there. So I want to visit my friend, Václav Kadunka.
Yes,
He is a director with such a character. So I want to have a drink, beer.
Perfect.
Beer is from your country, right?
I will tell Václav, I will tell him, I will deliver him to your greetings, and yeah, we will go for beer definitely when you are here. So thank you again, and just saying to the audience that there is still chance to watch your film, because it will be for 7 days available on the web pages of Ji.hlava Film Festival. And then they can also watch these question answers or check your website, as you mentioned, for the podcast. So there are many options how they can reach your work, which I congratulate you for the film, and thank you for that, and thank you for this talk. Interesting.
Thank you very much. It's my great pleasure and it's my honor. Thank you.
Thank you.